Episode of Geek Ireland News. I'm Olivia.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Joe.
And we're here at Hidden Treasure Comics to bring you all of the latest news and all things geek, such as...
well, Warhammer.
Comics.
And film and television.
I'm going to talk about Warhammer, considering I'm already holding the sign. This week sees the release of Lost Patrol from Games Workshop, which is a self-contained two-player game, including a number of different models, Space Marine Scouts and Tyranids. In previous months, we've seen a trend by Games Workshop to release self-contained board games, which is both good and bad, but mostly good. We've recently seen Death Watch Overkill, which is another two-player game, but it contains a lot of really, really cool Space Marine models that you can't get anywhere else. Really, really beautifully detailed special models that a lot of people just bought the box just so they could fill in a gap in their own armies. So there's a Blood Angels guy, there's an Imperial Fist guy, there's a Dark Angels guy, and just to have it on your army. So people just bought the box just to buy these special models. The same with Imperial Knights Renegade, which is a box set containing 2 Imperial Knights. And these things are huge and they're expensive, but when bought in this box, they're actually a lot cheaper. The thing about the new Lost Patrol box is that the models that they're using within the box are actually really, really old Space Marine Scout models. They're very, very, very dated. With the other boxes, you might be tempted to buy the box just to fill in the gap in your army, like I said, but with Space Marine Scouts, you probably won't. There's been a trend recently to fill in your Space Marine Scouts with these guys, these Militarum Tempestus Scions, which are way cooler. So it's a very strange decision on Games Workshop's part. But that said, they did do one thing this week that they should have done a long, long time ago, which is they released specialized bases. Anybody who collects models, anybody who builds models will know that the end game for model building is really, really cool bases, but it's a pain. It takes a long, long time to make a really, really cool base. What Games Workshop have done is they've created bases that are already built. All you basically have to do is spray paint them, wash them, dry brush them, and they look really, really good. I basically rebased my entire Blood Angels army in the space of, I don't know, 3 hours, and it looks really, really good. So this week, Games Workshop have done some good stuff, and they've done some bad stuff. Again, probably stay clear of the Scouts models. They've got that really, really bad tacky plastic, the red plastic, that they had for that Blood Angels game a few years ago. Definitely stay away from it. But the bases are a really, really cool idea. I would definitely get them.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Joe Kerrigan. I am the owner and proprietor here at Hidden Treasure Comics. I'm here today to talk to you about the history of comics, or just comics in general. So why do we read comics? Well, why do we read at all? C.S. Lewis, the author of Chronicles of Narnia, once said that we read to know we are not alone. So it just reminds us that we're all a part of the same world, experiencing the same things together. Now, comics, funny enough, are a bit of a misunderstood medium. They're actually the oldest recorded form of human communication. So if you look at cave drawings going back thousands of years, this was sequential artwork used to communicate ideas to other people. So here we go, we have the oldest media form in history. So why do we read comics today? Well, comics are a beautiful combination of spoken word or written word and visual stimuli. So when we bring these two things together, we can communicate amazing, powerful meanings. There are some things we can write in novels that just don't express themselves very well when they get transferred onto film. Or there's things we can do in film and it doesn't necessarily express very well in written form. Comics are like another medium that expresses itself in the same way. There are certain things we can do with comic books that we can't do with novels or films, so this is why we continue to read the medium, and this is why we enjoy it. Now, there's a wonderful history of comics, spanning from thousands of years ago up until the very present day, but everything revolves around 1938 and Action Comics #1, the first time we see our good friend Superman. So there were many things that happened before this, and there are also an amazing amount of things that happen afterwards. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, or next couple of episodes, we're going to try to cover as much of this stuff as we possibly can. So I hope you enjoy collecting and come back to us, and we'll definitely get into understanding a lot more about comic books. Thanks very much. Bye now.
film and television news. With Supergirl being the only CBS show left standing, now moving to CW, it was announced that they plan on having Superman, or the big guy as he's been called, appearing in season 2. And today it was announced that Tyler Hoechlin from Teen Wolf, he is going to be playing our very own Clark Kent. Now, this may disappoint some fans who were hoping that Tom Welling from Smallville fame was going to actually earn the role back. We'd finally be able to see him in the spandex tights. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that's going to come true for the fans. In other news, we have also found out that Ulysses Claw, aka Andy Serkis, is going to be appearing in the Black Panther film. This is due to a leaked casting call that actually contained the full cast list of who's going to be appearing in the film, and Andy Serkis' name was included. We've also heard some Spider-Man Homecoming news. Donald Glover of Community fame is joining the cast in a mysterious role as of yet. Most fans are going to probably assume that it's going to be Phil Urich, aka Hobgoblin, who of course is Ben Urich's nephew. Considering Ben has already been established in the Marvel Universe, this wouldn't be a huge surprise to see him appear as Phil, but a lot of fans are still hoping to see him as Miles Morales. You may remember back before Andrew Garfield was cast in The Amazing Spider-Man, there was a fan campaign to have Donald cast as Spider-Man. Of course, we know now that this didn't pan out, so there's still the hope that he might actually be able to don the Spider-Man costume as Miles Morales.
In other news, the E3 gaming convention has been taking place in Los Angeles, with EA and Ubisoft being widely criticised for having poor and long conferences, while the others have generated quite a bit of hype. Sony have generated hype by confirming via Sony Santa Monica God of War is going to be released later this year, with Resident Evil also being released. They've also announced that Crash Bandicoot 1, 2 and Warped is going to be fully remastered from the ground for PS4. Xbox, on the other hand, have announced that there will be no Halo in the works, but Project Scorpio is going to be the new Xbox One. It'll be capable of 4K gaming and supporting VR, and it'll be the same generation, i.e. no games will be released for this new version of Xbox One that can't be played on older models. They also gave us a new trailer for Final Fantasy, but I'm sure you've already seen that. The biggest news, however, came from Nintendo, with the announcement of Zelda gameplay trailer and the title being The Breath of the Wind. There's been no specific release date as of yet, but it will be coming to us sometime in 2017.
Tragic news hit this week with the death of Anton Yelchin on Sunday the 19th of June. Yelchin, known for his role as Chekhov in the Star Trek reboot franchise, was killed after being pinned to a pillar by his car in his own driveway due to a fault in the parking brake. Fans and his fellow Star Trek cast members have been paying tribute to him all week. At the age of only 27, Yelchin joins a long list of celebrities to join the Cursed Club 27.
Welcome back, folks. This is the part of the show where we ask ourselves, what is hot in comics right now? Dave, what's hot in comics right now?
What a wonderfully spontaneous question, Joe. I'm glad you asked. Well, right now it'd be very wrong, I tell you, to talk about comics without talking about DC Rebirth.
It would be wrong.
Have you read any of them, Joe?
Of course I have.
I've read them all. I've read every single one of them.
Yeah.
And it's for the first time in at least 7 relaunches in the last 2 months that I've actually liked every single comic book that DC has put out in the last 2 weeks.
DC have had a difficult time. I think the New 52 mixed reviews. We had 4 or 5 years of the madness.
Yeah.
But we are now getting back to an interesting rebirth, an interesting stage in the DC universe.
It's a rebirth, but it's like a rebirth, but it's like birthing something old. It's like Brad Pitt just coming out of your comic book birthing canal. And it's been really
aging
good.
Backwards.
Yeah,
of course.
It's been really good so far. Wonder Woman's been a big highlight for me. I thought Greg Rucka did an amazing job. It was fantastic. She's been wearing like the silver and stuff, and she does a whole bit in it where she takes off the silver and she starts wearing the gold again. It's really, really great.
Awesome.
Dan Abnett's doing Titans, and I love Dan Abnett. So the more Dan Abnett, the better. And Wally West is back. So we're all happy. I'm a happy guy right now. I'm really, really happy about what DC are doing right now. I haven't read a bad comic yet.
Excellent. Well, it looks like a lot of the politics behind the production of the comics with DC's recent move to Los Angeles, back under the watchful gaze of Warner Brothers Studios. So perhaps this is finally DC's year, or DC's decade even.
Well, the first since what, the 80s? Maybe 85, 86? When was Crisis? 86?
80, something, as Perez. Yeah, it's definitely Still trying to fix those golden age problems that they did try to get together.
As these are trying, and it shows they're listening as well, which is great.
Yeah. Well, this is it. But I think possibly the one thing that's going most overlooked is that DC have univocally said they are retailing their comics for $2.99 at a cover price, which is a major bonus for the consumer.
Now, that said, they did that with the Rebirth relaunch title, and then they reissued it at 5 something. So
that's right. It is a double thick issue, and it would normally, as a longer comic, would retail at 6. But that was part and parcel of what DC are trying to communicate: the fact that they are giving good deals on new comics.
It's absolutely worth every penny. It's a great comic book. And Wally West is back, so I would have paid all the money I have. So. Like €6-7. I would have paid that for it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's definitely been a great kind of nod to the old and look forward to the new. So I think we're going to see a lot of good things coming out of DC.
So when we do this in a few weeks, we'll be giving out about it, I suspect.
Yeah. Well, we'll just see how our issue 7s go. So if we get to it, or issue 13s even, to see how many of these last the year or whatnot. So
only God knows.
Oh, we'll have to find out.
That was also spontaneous. Your entry there was very spontaneous.
Very spontaneous. It's not like I was hiding in the wings at all. On that note, folks, thanks very much for watching, and keep in touch through Geek Ireland and Hidden Treasure Comics for all of your news, and thanks for watching.
See you now.
Bye.
Guys, I'm still recording.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. No, it isn't.